Well, the day has finally arrived. I knew today would come, I just wasn't sure when. But today is the day that we go after big water. Now we're not talking about the billions and billions of dollar Nestle's and Coca-Cola big water. We're going after liquid death. Now I always knew liquid death was lame, but they have a whole bunch of fans on the internet that defend them to the very end. But today, I got kinda definitive proof that liquid death super sucks. And before the end of this video, I think you're going to agree with me. Hey ladies, how's it going? Dan Frampton here, and before we get started, how's about you toss me a quick like, subscribe to the channel, and with all that housekeeping out of the way, let's get to business. And speaking of business, let's pull up TechCrunch here really quick, just to get you guys an idea of how much liquid death is worth. Now we're not going to read this whole article that they put out, but right at the top, you're like, whoa, $75 million more than expected, and blah, 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 just a bunch of fucking business bullshit. And then at the very bottom, altogether, Liquid Death has now raised $125 million and is valued by its backers at $525 million, selling water out of a can that looks like beer. And I always knew Liquid Death sucked because you're like commodifying something that is free. You know that movie, The Lorax, based off that book, The Lorax? There's that guy selling air in a bottle. That's what this stuff reminds me of. And don't come at me like, oh, but they have like flavors now and sparkling varieties. That doesn't matter. When you're worth $525 million, you have to be selling something to people that they can't just get out of nowhere. And I think another reason why I just hate this company so much without even knowing anything about them is the presence online. These fucking millionaire punk rockers that live in a mansion on a hill, that's the types of people that are throwing around this liquid death stuff. And they're cracking open a can being like, after a hard day, come home, have yourself a liquid death. Isn't that the best dang tasting thing you've ever tasted in your goddamn life? After a hard day, there's nothing quite like hydration. And I hate to break it to you, man. I don't want to be like this guy. I'm not your dad, but if you're having a long day, you should be having lots of water throughout the end of the day. You can't be coming home at the herd of a long day, cracking open a liquid. Hey, yeah. I hope to God that you were drinking water throughout this long day and you don't feel like you have to wait until the end of a long day until you've earned water. That is not how water works. But none of that is actually why we're here today. None of that stuff is the topic at hand. But today, the story starts with me on Instagram. And in particular, on this page, Bake and Destroy. She's kind of like a straight edge vegan lifestyle influencer, I guess. And she's one of my favorite accounts to follow. Goddamn, she is very charismatic. I don't know what else to say. But I'm not here to gush about Bake and Destroy all day. Today is about the Liquid Death logo. And now Liquid Death are posting all these like, look, we came up with this idea first. We're the skull brand. We had skulls before everybody. Look, this is 2017 where I drew the skull. So everybody, you gotta know before we get into this that Liquid Death came up with skulls. And because they're Liquid Death, he's a death skull made out of liquid. It's pretty cute, pretty clever, right? It's pretty fun. Down here, logo, circa 2018. Great, very sick. Okay, these next slides here, we're gonna get into that in a little bit, but we're gonna look at this one here really quick, where she captions it, look at all these dorks attacking a legacy metal label over water in a can. Well, this is the post that actually inspired this video, where she goes, this is the artist Liquid Death sicked their 1 million corny ass fans on. Like, goddamn, she speaks her mind. She is so based. His art is so cool, and he isn't a multi-million-dollar corporation that sells water in a can. Eye roll emoji. Goddamn right. So based. Well said. Facts, 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 facts upon facts. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? Liquid Death is getting into some drama. Apparently they're sending over 1 million people over to this guy that doesn't have 1 million fans. What the fuck is going on here? So, to investigate, we slide our way over here to Liquid Death and we see 1 million followers, all very beautiful, but here is this side by side. And now we can see the logo circa 2018 is there to prove a definitive point. Look, we were here before this nuclear blast guy was here, whatever they are. What could they have possibly done in the fucking music world? And that's so crazy because Liquid Death is like marketing themselves in the music world to punks, to metalheads, to that whole scene, and then to do this is insane. We'll get into the differences between the logos here in a little bit, but let's just dive into what they have to say. We are honored that famous metal record label Nuclear Blast Records is so in love with Liquid Death that our mission of health and sustainability that they recently decided to make their new logo a complete homage to our logo. Your records have inspired us for decades, so it's a true honor to have inspired you right back. Rock and roll, skull with crossbones. Hashtag Liquid Death, hashtag logo. Oh my god, that is so cringe. And of course you can see my comment here up at the top where I just say that it's a cope. Definitely, lol cope. And I don't know how you go after a record label for a skull type logo. I don't know if you know, but you're not the first brand to use a skull, and you certainly won't be the last. I'm not gonna go in example by example to pull up different cool skulls, because we all know skulls look cool. And I'm looking at these things right now, and to me, these are two vastly different skulls. And they both represent the brand that they're supposed to. Let's take a look at Liquid Death again, alright? You got this like skull, kind of tilted up a little bit, but the skull is made out of water, and the skull represents death, so it's Liquid Death. It's perfect. You look at the Nuclear Blast one, and it's not necessarily tilted up, it's straight on, and it's a blast, like the skull is being blasted away. There's no like wiggly lines, it's all going in one direction, signifying that there's like one force coming at the skull rather than you being made out of water. You know, it's two completely different skulls, and I don't think one was inspired by the other. To me, it doesn't even look like that at all. So then for you to be like, artist who did this, I hate you. How could you have commissioned this to a big time record label and let them do this? You know that you just did our logo, it's just a cosplay of our thing, and now it represents metal bands? Fuck you! I'm like, no, this can't be true. And you go down, and everybody's like laughing about this. They think this is so funny. We got fucking Finn up here at the top just laughing his friggin' face off. Finn thinks this is hilarious. Well, I'm here to tell you, Finn, it's not funny. That's a $525 million company selling water in a can that looks like beer, basically went after an artist who has 20,000 subscribers and a really sick aesthetic. One that it looks like they spent time learning how to do, because all of these are done in a very similar style, and a style doesn't develop overnight. If you're an artist, you know you need to take things from one piece, apply it to another piece, ditch things that suck until you have a cohesive style that looks like you, that you're speaking your voice. And right here, these are very like original looking pieces. This is the work of this guy, Dr. Wolfenbergen, Justin Mole, Lo-Fi Art Design from Pennsylvania. Go check this guy out. His stuff is so fucking sick. When you're like an up and coming creator and you have a whole bunch of people coming over from another thing just to hate on you, you're gonna feel it. I felt it at like a lower level. I didn't have like Liquid Death coming after me. I've had like hardcore bands thinking that they're gonna beat me up through the internet or whatever, but like that clearly didn't happen. But this is a whole different story than that. But I knew that he would have something to say about this. So let's click this here and see what our friend Justin has to say about this Liquid Death drama. Hey Liquid Death, it stinks you assume I lifted your skull artwork. This is a real bummer for me. Just take a look at my art. I draw skulls and stuff. All sorts of skulls. Nothing special about it. For this particular project, I simply developed a blasted skull in a style I've been honing for several years. I do it for fun mostly, because it certainly isn't all about the money I don't make. You should know that no one asked me to draw something like yours, and that I did not use reference. I created it on my own, in my attic, with a pencil and paper. It was one of several options. The only thing I was thinking about while drawing blasted skulls was how cool it was to be working with such a rad company. Sorry you think I copied your art. It's not the case. I don't even like water. That's fucking amazing. That's my favorite line in this whole thing. I don't even like water. And to everyone else that ruined my day, fuck you. Unbelievable. Stand up for yourself, man. That fucking rules. I gotta say, it was a bizarre Friday night, but it's fucking rad to know that many people have my back. Skulls till death. Hell yeah, we do. Real ones know the right side of history. But you know, Nuclear Blast is also on the internet. they also have an Instagram page. So I thought they'd be saying something, but of course they're not. They don't give a shit about this. They're Nuclear Blast. They're just doing their thing. They just have a logo. But here's their logo, all animated here, Nuclear Blast Records, and it just like makes total fucking sense for their brand. That is not the Liquid Death skull at all. And like, if you're not familiar with Nuclear Blast, they just have like so many bands, like fucking Biohazard, Cradle of Filth, Madball, and like so many more. Hatebreed. So the next time you find yourself in a 7-Eleven and you're there facing the cooler and you're being like, oh, I gotta murder my thirst, please murder it with something that isn't Liquid Death. If you're spending money, make sure you're spending money on something that you don't already have. We're over here in the western part of the world, man. Not everybody on Earth has access to running water. So I don't know why everyone feels like they have to crack open a can of water to enjoy it. All of this stuff is so cringe, and it sucks that a small artist got hate rated like that by a big company. So at the very least, go over to his Instagram page, Dr. Wolfenbergen, and give that a quick follow. But you know what? I kind of live for the drama. I kind of live to stir that pot. So if you Liquid Death fans have some like lingering hate you want to throw out to somebody, I can be that hate receptacle for you. Well, that was disgusting. Well, yeah, okay, so that's another drama video in the bag. Until my next upload, watch another upload.